Hey everyone, and welcome to Get Celebritized, your show where you get to learn how to earn more, live more, and give back more to the causes and charities and communities that are most important to you and help you live a big, vivacious, juicy legacy life. I'm your host, Aurea McGarry, and I bring you amazing people every single week that are crushing it in their niche, in their industry, in some platform of their life. But life wasn't easy to get there. And they come forward to be honest with you, to tell you some of the things that could have derailed them, some of the things in their life that could have completely stopped them in their tracks from ever achieving any of their dreams. But they didn't let it stop them. Not only that, but we dive deep into what worked. How did you get out of that? Did you know the right person? Did you have a right connection? How do you navigate success when life is giving you more than just lemons? It's giving you rotten lemons. So we've all been there and done that, and it's not a one-time thing. Life can bring on many, many obstacles, but we are determined to keep on keeping on. So without any further ado, today is an extra special day because a very dear, close friend of mine, definitely a sister to me, is none other than the gorgeous, the beautiful, the talented Rachel Weaver. She is multi-talented, a multifaceted, successful entrepreneur in so many ways. But some key points I want to bring out to you today is she's a professional keynote speaker. She travels the world speaking on stages. She's on her way to Italy this summer as we speak. She's an event producer. That also brings us back to Italy, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. And she's a wonderful professional red carpet MC for events and the CEO and founder of Amplify and Impact PR and marketing firm. You want press? Rachel Weaver is your gal. Rachel, get your gorgeous, beautiful face up here. Here we go. Woohoo! Rachel, welcome to the show. Finally got you here.
Oh, Aurea, I'm so excited to be here with you today. That intro, holy moly.
It's like the tip of the iceberg. You're so much more than I even had the time to say. You really are such a strong woman, and you've been through so much, and you have come out on top, but you're constantly seeking more. You're constantly growing. I so admire you for always learning more and pivoting and reevaluating your success and going with new ventures and new things. You never stay stagnant. You never sit on your laurels. And I love and admire that about you so much because that's a talent, a gift, and it's also a decision you make every day to choose success and be the great mother that you are as well.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I definitely don't sit still. I guess that whole ADD being a blessing and a curse is the real reality of it all. Sitting still is really,
we accomplish a lot though, don't we? We get a lot done.
We sure do. We don't know how to slow down. But it's also part of, I think, being a true entrepreneur. And, resiliency that comes along with being an entrepreneur.
Good word, resilient.
Yes, resilient. So
absolutely,
we have to be ready to roll with the punches and pivot, if you will, which was the, big buzzword back during COVID.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is a lot of us have had to pivot in life long before COVID, and will continue throughout the years post-COVID. So,
yeah. Absolutely. We're going to talk about some of the pivoting you had to do before COVID ever even touched our doorstep. And I think women, we really have that resilience built in us. I love the movie Steel Magnolias for that reason. We are supposed to be this beautiful, delicate flower that just blossoms, but we are hard as nails. And when push comes to shove, we're the ones that are the strength of the family, the strength of our girlfriends. We have that backbone, that steelness to us. I just think it's so relevant. And I've always loved that movie because it focused and spotlighted how strong women really are. We are not, delicate and crumbling and withering away. We really do stand up to time, the test of time for sure. And I say finally getting you on my show here today because you have been such a great supporter of the show and have brought on so many of your clients because you have helped so many TEDx events be the great success in PR and marketing for them. You know, out west, you've done them in all different states, and you've brought onto my show several of those keynote speakers that we're about to do at TEDx, and they've come on and they've been absolutely phenomenal. So talk to us a little about your success right now before we go into those things that really could have stopped you in your tracks, Rachel.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, I do a lot of different things. TEDx is one of them. I love the TEDx stage because it is really so different. I love that, you know, TED has built an incredible name because of really setting themselves apart. So talk about PR and branding and being a publicist, really what it takes to show up with credibility. TED did that beautifully by setting themselves apart from other stages, from other speaker platforms. And so I feel really passionate about helping people that are not everyday speakers be able to step into sharing their unique idea or their invention or their perspective on something and taking it to that TEDx stage. And then what I do after we apply for them is we help them market that talk so that they build that level of credibility, because the reality of it is when you add TEDx speaker to your title in your bio, you have attention of people that you might not have otherwise had, because TED, right, the reason that it is so, there's a few reasons why TEDx gives you that extra credibility, and it's a lot of times something that just will set you apart from a professional motivational speaker. And number one is you can stay, if you've done a TEDx talk, you know how to stay within the guidelines of a talk. Number one.
Start on time and end on time.
Yes, time.
For event planners.
Yes, you start on time, you end on time, no matter what the audience is doing, right? And so a lot of us who are professional speakers, we get caught up in the moment and we're like, the audience is loving it. We're about done with our time. But we're like, no, the host is going to be so happy because the audience is feeling it. And while the host is happy for that audience, the host also is thinking about, this is selfish because the other speakers are waiting to.
And there's a lot of other speakers on a TEDx stage. You're talking 15, 18 people at this one event that each have their 9-minute slot or 10-minute slot or whatever. And the good thing about TEDx speakers, I'm an event host. Obviously, I have my Get Celebritized show, but I also do events on stages. I've done them for years. And when you know somebody comes to you like Rachel, when you came to me, I've got some TEDx speakers lined up. The TEDx event is going to be on such and such a date in June. I'd love for some of them to be able to have some PR marketing on your show. I don't have to do much homework as far as to find out if they're good on camera, good on a stage. TEDx has already done that for me. So just by having TEDx on your resume, already for event hosts like me, I know you know how to share an idea in a concise, educated, professional manner. So that's a done deal. All I have to do is dive in to make sure that topic is a good fit for my show. So you take out a lot of that guesswork for us. And when everybody comes to us as show hosts and event planners and event hosts, you know, I want to be on your stage. We've got to do our due diligence and do that. TEDx is an automatic, check that box. Let's take it to the next step. So you also work with the TEDx events, and you've helped promote them. You've done red carpet. So tell us just a little bit more about what you do for the TEDx community at large, as well as who your ideal client is to be a TEDx speaker.
So TEDx is a one piece to my portfolio, and oh yeah, too many things to really touch on.
You're good at all of them.
Right, thank you. So really, when people come to me wanting to do a TEDx talk, I really help them craft that idea, put that idea into their idea of a talk. Then I fill out their application for them and submit that application for them.
You fill it out for them. That's a huge thing I want everybody to hear, because you have one chance to make a good impression to a TEDx event. And if you do some things wrong, I know when I did mine, my person at the time was saying, you can do just a few things wrong. It looks like you're an amateur. They spot it immediately and they won't want you. And some things you can put in there if you're not educated in that will get you banned. And other TEDx event planners all know each other. It's a tight community of event hosts. So tell us how you kind of know the rules to help them get accepted if they can.
Right. So what sets me apart is I've worked with TEDx doing PR for the event specifically. And I have been surrounded by speakers for years and years and years. As I have coached and mentored speakers, I'm always trying to improve my own speaking capabilities. I mean, I studied communications in college and started Toastmasters at 16, but for TEDx, their rules are so specific, right? One word, even in that application, can out you. And so what I like to do for people, and I will admit I have like a 99.9% success rate, because I know exactly what they are looking for when we submit that application. And so I help craft and curate the application so that the curator will pay attention. And
you have to make a good first impression.
You do. You have to make the first good impression. And then I work with them to say, nope, you have to do that over again. No, you have to eliminate this word. You need to shift this just in your idea alone.
So you help them create their speech too, the presentation?
Yeah. Wow, and then we coach them. Yeah, we coach them. Then TEDx steps in and we have TEDx coaches that then work with them to memorize their talk. We've helped people memorize their talk in less than 2 days. So yeah, we from start to finish, from idea to the talk being written, from idea to application to the talk being written to the talk being memorized, to then we step into, okay, this is the way you should look.
Yeah,
your stage presence is everything. So many people they miss the boat when they do that for their TEDx talk.
Absolutely.
And so I want everyone who's on here listening, who has a dream of doing a talk or who's done a TEDx talk, I want to explain to you a little bit of why you might not have got the same viewership as other people.
Oh,
and
good.
Part of that is your stage presence, number one, because we only have a matter of we're so ADD. We have a matter of, less than
nanosecond. A nanosecond.
Yes. To grab the attention of people that want to listen, right? Otherwise, why are they going to stay on your talk when they can just click next and then next TEDx talk comes up? So that is one thing. Your presence, it's important. Your facial expressions, your smile, the way you're standing, the posture.
What you wear.
What you wear is really important. So many people think it's not important. It really is. I will argue with people all day long because it's psychology.
Absolutely. If you have to attract the right clientele and to share your story, and it's a business stage. It's a college type stage. It's not the time to wear a sequin gown. There's a time and a place for, unless it's part of your presentation. So of course it's a big gift, but it does matter what you wear, how you present yourself. That's why I have my daughter who always dresses me for my events. She did an amazing job. And when you're wearing the right thing, you feel more confident as well. Because I really wasn't even feeling my best coming out of the pandemic. I gained some weight. I'm like, I don't even want to put on anything. And she really dressed me where I didn't feel like I walked out looking like the Goodyear blimp, because it's, how I felt. And she helped me feel good. And it showed in the presentation that I did. So it's really important. I'm so glad you do that. You really are a one-stop shop, Rachel. You do so much, and you get them press, and you get them marketing. So we could talk about this forever, but in a nutshell, because I want to really talk to them about what could have stopped you. I want them to get to know you a little bit on a personal level, because we do business with people we know, like, and trust. And I love your story so much. And that's one reason we're sisters now and do so much together, because we truly care for each other. And it's our stories that kind of bonded us. But I know it's really important when you do a TEDx to, have that support. And you've just been so great, Rachel. So tell us in a nutshell about what could have stopped you.
Well,
take a deep breath.
That's a loaded question. Okay. So the reality of it is there's many things that could have stopped me. I have lived all over the world. I've moved multiple times. Just since leaving. Did I lose you, Aurea?
No, I was focusing in on you because you're about to tell your story.
Oh!
Take the stage, my dear.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. I'm like, I don't see Aurea anymore. Okay, so I'm new to Wave, so
it's all good. Periodically, I'll focus on you.
Edit that part out. No, the reality of it is I've moved all over the world. I have lived all over the world just since leaving home for high school. Then I went across country to go to college, and the story just transpires from there. But I fell in love in my 20s, married the person that was really my best friend and, what I thought was quote unquote soulmate. And the reality of it is I had ended up living a very blessed life. Look, we moved all over the world together. We have 2 incredibly beautiful children that I'm so grateful for every single day. And during that time, I did build a very successful business. A couple of them, one in particular that I worked really hard, blood, sweat, and tears, taking my children to work with me. Carrying them in their baby carriers because they were only 18 months old. But throughout that process, we grew the company from 1 state to 3 states, 13 states to 3 countries.
What kind of company?
So we were a distribution center, and we sold very high and exclusive products to salon spas and med spas, as well as consulting them, coaching them, and hosting events. So we hosted events all over the world.
Up your alley.
Yes, something I absolutely love. So we hosted events all over the world. We did major hair shows. We
now, was your husband in business with you, or was this just your business, or was your husband? No, okay. So this is your business.
But we did move a lot for his company. So that he worked for.
Okay.
And so many times over, my business was in multiple places, but that did create a lot of distress to start over and over again with kids.
Right.
And then having the opportunity to move overseas was something that was extremely rewarding, but also caused me a lot of traveling back and forth and things like that. Long story short, while my husband did love and adore me, and on the outside, everyone would say, "Oh my gosh, you guys have the most beautiful life. Like, he adores you. I'm so jealous. I wish my husband." He had a sickness, and he hid it very, very well. And I found myself, after 18 years of us being together, discovering that he had lived, a lie, really, the entire time. And so that really put me in a position of waking up and saying, how could my entire adult life been a lie? Like, how could I be with someone?
What kind of lie, Rachel? Well, people don't know your story. I know your story, but what was he living?
So he did. He lived a double life. So there was a lot of infidelity. I traveled a lot. He traveled a lot, and then he would come home, and on the exterior, a lot of people say, "How could you not know?" Well, there were points and times where I would question things, but I also knew what we were when we were standing next to each other or facing each other, and the rock that he had become for me and me for him. And so it was really, when I would question things, it didn't make sense, but I also was like, I must be crazy. Like, yeah, he's right. He's like, are you crazy? You know how much I adore you and I'm in love with you. I would never hurt you. So, while I do know that his intention was never to hurt me, because a lot of times when people live a double life, or they end up having some kind of addiction to seeking validation from other people, they compartmentalize and they tend to believe that what the other person doesn't know won't hurt them.
Yeah.
And so the one thing that I will say is, it does spiral you. I will say, we know through a lot of brain research, like the number one most traumatic thing you go through is the loss of a child, which makes complete and utter sense.
Oh, yeah.
And nothing can compare. But right next to that is spousal betrayal or partner betrayal. And so we tend to live in a culture, in a society today, with the apps and the everything being so sexualized, that we don't really do the work to understand how much certain things affect us. And we move on and we carry that to the next person if we don't really do some deep work. So I took a long time. It was, I'm not going to lie, it was tough, to go from believing I had this beautiful life to saying, like, oh my gosh, what now? And I had exited my company in 2018. And then discovered one small piece to the big puzzle at the end of 2019, when everything started becoming exposed, and into 2020. So a major life shift happened in my life. We were living in Asia, and brought my kids, and so there was a lot of things that definitely could have stopped me.
Yeah, now you say that, I mean, this is a major thing. 18 years together, you're best friends, to find out not just infidelity, but you said he had a whole nother life, did he have another family, did you say, or did he, because it was intense for you. And I want the viewers to really know that, gosh, if you can come out of that, there's hope, because you're not alone, and you're so brave to talk about it. Because I know you talk about this a lot. You've never kept it a secret, because you're such a girlfriend to so many women. You want them to know you're not alone. Hey, girls, I've been through this. If this could happen to me and I make it through, you can too. So we so appreciate your honesty and your openness, because this is a wound and it didn't happen that long ago.
Yeah. So, well, I do want to say, I don't talk openly about this almost ever. So I talk in small groups of women who I think need to hear it. And what I've found is that there's a lot of women that we go into shame. We feel ashamed.
What did we do wrong?
Right. What did we do wrong? Like, why was I not enough? But the reality of it is, it had nothing to do with you. A lot of the women that I was in intense therapy with, and some of my group therapy after finding out, were Victoria's Secret models. We're very high achieving, successful women who were surgeons, pediatric surgeons, orthopedic surgeons, a lawyer, a judge.
Has nothing to do with the woman. Yeah,
It has
it's
nothing, or men, because women do,
exactly,
women happen to women, men as well.
exactly.
So yeah, my husband did not. So when we say double life, it doesn't always mean they had another family,
Okay.
but they lived a secret life the entire time because they're doing these things the entire time. Like discovering that, wow, that one time when I couldn't get a hold of you and I was pregnant with Alyssa and I was sick, you were with someone who is a quote unquote friend of mine.
Wow.
So there are certain things like that to where it really transcribes into a double life, right? They're
Gotcha.
living this life outside of everything you see and you know and you believe. And um and I'm definitely not a fool when it comes to certain
You know,
things.
yeah, I love that you totally empower the women and the men to know if this is happening, it's not that person's fault. And there was no ill intent. I love your perspective on that because you guys were friends and it was, you said from the beginning, a sickness, an illness, something. He didn't do it to be spiteful. He didn't do it because you weren't enough. None of that. And I love that you were very into psychology and into the brain and really dove deep into this because otherwise it could be more than a woman or a man could handle the
Yeah.
betrayal. That's second only to loss of a child, something like this happening. And
Yeah.
everybody has dealt with heartbreak in one way or another in their life. Nobody gets to this life without a broken heart, one or many times in their life. So it happens in different levels. And this just happened to be, 18 years into a marriage with kids. Doesn't make it any less if somebody's dating somebody and finds out. It's all that heart. And don't take it upon yourself, male or woman, thinking, what did I do wrong or why wasn't I enough? So if you could give us, before we go on to more business success, this is really important because you and I are very much a supporter of mental health, especially after the pandemic, people being able to make it through because you're not going to be successful in business if there's these wounds that still haven't had a place to heal. So if you could give some advice to, okay, this has happened in any way in your life, some sort of betrayal, some sort of heartbreak, whatever it is. How did you take this now and process it to get over it? Because you have such a great perspective of it now. You're in such a better place. We know there's still scars for anything that happens to any of us, but you're in such a better place now and still such a great single mom to your two kids that are thriving. And you're just such an impressive woman that I just adore. You're strong. We're strong, but we're still the magnolia. We're still that beautiful flower that needs to be cared for. So give us some tips on what worked for you to help you put that into perspective and to be able to keep on keeping on.
Well, the first thing I will say is you need to immediately find a group of people you trust.
Support.
You need support. Number one. Number two, getting help is essential. I was in the fetal position for quite some time. I'm not going to lie. It's really grasping. You go into shock trauma at first. There's definitely different stages and different trauma pieces of all of this that people experience and go through. And often I've seen it time and time again, because I am certified in trauma recovery and neuroscience and all of these other things.
Was that before or after this, Rachel, when you were certified?
So I was certified in NLP and neuroscience prior through Johns Hopkins, and studying the trauma recovery certification also prior. And it was in the midst of discovering that I was finalizing that certification. So it's almost as if God was like trying to prepare me. I've always had this craving and this growth. I've always been like addicted to personal growth. And I think that has really helped me and benefit, it really helped me to be able to know I need to act immediately. I need to get myself into therapy and my children into therapy immediately. And I'm someone who's off and on always been in therapy since I was 19. So I I'm a huge supporter of that, but sometimes therapy is it's just not enough, because the level of trauma that this puts you in is significant. And often what people will do is they will just look for something to numb that rather than to deal with it.
Good
And
point.
it's
Really good point, Rachel.
putting a Band-Aid on that is going, I guarantee you, it will come off. That Band-Aid will come off. So things will rise again. Things will start to happen in your life that you react in a very unhealthy way, and it's because you just stuffed this, and it's no joke. So first and foremost, build a support system, get help. I went as far as going to a trauma recovery center for 5 days and worked with specialists in betrayal trauma.
You know, I want you to, we'll put some descriptions. I know Rachel give me some of the time. We'll put them in the descriptions of the show of some nationwide support groups, because a lot of times people don't know where to start. Who do you look for? What kind of therapist? But I love that you're saying it is a trauma. This is a PTSD in play right now, because there's going to be a lot of triggering that's going to happen. Never trusting again. It's a lot going on. And Rachel, it is so kind of interesting how you were being prepped for this and happened, and how you help so many other people and women now, especially as you move into these different platforms and stages where you talk about it intimately with other women when the time is right. This isn't your on stage platform, but I like the way you open up when the timing is right, that you're there to help. So we'll put some of those resources that you may have in our descriptions here to help, because just because you know of it, because you're in the industry, you've been down that road, doesn't mean the person that's happening to you today doesn't know even where to start. And not always a Google search will get you the best results. So
no,
we appreciate that. Yeah, we'll put them in the description.
For sure. And also for the person who, you know, is the betrayer. You know, a lot of times they're hurting so deeply, and they're in search of something, and they're living with this significant amount of guilt. And so, you know, it's easy to look at someone who's the betrayer and destroyed their family to say, like, they're a horrible person and placing blame. But at the reality of it is there is more to it, and that person needs help just as much too. And so,
do you find they get help? Do you find they go into denial? Now, I know your husband was great, and probably because you say he was a really good person. Not all are, but there's all sorts of different spectrums. But do you feel, for the most part in your experience, that they are willing to get help when it's something like this? We're not even talking domestic violence right now. We're talking about things like this. Do you find they get help as well, whether it was the male or the female?
Well, betrayal is domestic violence. It is abuse. So I want everyone to understand it's abuse. It's psychological and emotional abuse that happens.
Sure.
And a marital contract is you know, there's no bigger contract you'll sign in your life, right? So if you're married or you're with a partner in a commitment, that is inside of us. There's no bigger commitment. So I think that it turns into almost an addiction, a brain, you know, there's many different ways it starts. Oftentimes it starts with pornography addiction, and it leads to these secrets. But that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But I do think that a lot of times they're not open in the beginning. So it does take a lot of breakthroughs. Sometimes it takes a lot. A lot of times it's just like an addict, where they have to really hit their rock bottom and lose everything before they get the help. But sometimes, some way, I think that there are people, you know, there's marriages that survive it because the man realizes that he's going to lose everything. So if you are on either side of the spectrum, there is a lot of help out there for the person who is maybe suffering and doing these things behind their partner's back. And then, of course, there is a lot of betrayal trauma therapy groups, support groups, therapists, just like the person who's doing it. There are a lot of support groups out there for you as well to help you. So
Well, thank you, Rachel, so much for opening up, because you are such an amazing person. You have such great success under your belt, under your tool belt, and you've been through, a lot of different things. And we can open up, especially to women. And my audience is so many women, which is so great. And I love when people come and just are raw and open, saying, "Hey, been down this road." I've had mothers on here that have lost children, 6-year-olds, in like the Newtown, Connecticut shooting. Scar Lewis, talk about the worst day of your life, like you said, losing a child, and willing to come on and talk about it, because nobody can relate to that except another parent that's been through it. And then to start a nonprofit to help other parents go through it, because unfortunately that was not the first nor the last time that happened. It's become way too common. Domestic violence, domestic abuse, it's become all too common. And 3 women a day die at the hands of somebody that's supposed to love them, that is committed to love them. And this is a death emotionally. This is a lot of death going on inside with what you just talked about. So I'm so glad you said get support, because me, I'm such a believer in it takes a village to live our lives. It doesn't just take a village to raise kids. It takes a village to live a life. We cannot do it alone. Pandemic proved that in spades, that we were not creatures meant to be alone. We're pack animals. We just are, and get out there and help. So thank you for giving us some resources. I'll put those in the descriptions. You were so brave and so strong to be able to help those, because even if you just help one person, Rachel, that hears this, that gets help, maybe goes to a link that you give us, then thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. Appreciate you so much. On a better note now, let's talk about, go back to your standing right now, how you have become so successful in the industry, because you are an investor, you're a speaker, you do events, you travel the world, you do an event in Italy this summer. We're talking 2024, and it's not the first, it's not the last. So talk to us a little bit about some of the juicy success you have experienced, and this is post that trauma. So excited and proud of you for bouncing back. Let's give them hope on what can happen post-trauma now.
Oh, there is such a thing as post-traumatic growth if you do the work, right?
Make the decision, help do the work, make the decision, take action. So talk to us about some of the things that you're really excited about right now.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Super excited. So I just became an international best-selling author, so that's super exciting.
What's the name of the book?
Yeah, so the name of the book is Be Creative, and it's a collaborative book. So several authors and we wrote this book together to help people understand the importance of part of what you do, Aurea, by helping celebritize people, really helping them get attention, helping them stand out, build credibility around their brand, their name. So super excited about that. I have another book coming as well. And events are something that I absolutely love, because I love people. They
love you back.
Yes, I love creating a positive impact. And I know that events and retreats, you have the opportunity to have your life changed at an event. You have, if you're a speaker, you have every time you step on stage, you have the opportunity to change lives in that audience, in a moment. Just because you might be saying something that 100 other speakers have said, the way you deliver that message might be received by someone that changes their life. Mm-hmm. And so I love events for that reason, for many other reasons. But, Aurea, you and I have become like so close post meeting each other in person at an event. We met on an app. We met during a hard time. We became close. Then at an event, next thing you know, we're starting a business together, multiple bit, and we're doing many different projects. And so, yes, I mean, events can change everything for people. You might meet your next investor. You might meet your next business partner or joint venture. And so events are just something that I feel so passionately about, because of the opportunity to A, speak, B, change lives, and C, do more business. So lots of different things.
Are you hosting them? Or are you just speaking? I think I know the answer to this, but tell everybody, hosting, speaking, What are you doing? And should the average entrepreneur do it all or pick a lane?
So I have a lot of experience in this realm because I've been doing it so long, and I have invested hundreds of thousands of dollars to be able to understand how to produce an event. Remember that addiction
Not
to
for the
growth.
faint of heart.
Right? Right? So it is not for the faint of heart. Hosting your own event is really not for everyone. I don't want to discourage anyone, but the reality of it is there's so much opportunity through other events that people have. If you really want to host your own event and you don't know how, hire someone to help you. Call me. I can help, right? We can help you. People like Aurea and I, we have been there. We've hosted virtual, we've hosted in person, we've produced them. So I'm doing both. So right now I'm working with 3 different groups that are wanting to do 3 different very large scale events. One is a big award show. Stay tuned for that. That's exciting stuff coming. Announcements will be made soon, but I'm producing those events. So my name will be a producer on those events, and I'm putting the logistics together, coordinating everything, really putting it together. I also host my own events. I speak at events. I've emceed events, and other events, I stand outside and I do interviews on the red carpet.
Like you're doing one next week. I know people watch this replay for many years to come, but we cannot let this slide, Rachel. What you're doing next week. We're in June 2024. Tell us what's happening in Nashville, where you're going to be, and my daughter's going to be so all over you for this. Go ahead, tell us.
So I'm super grateful because I've been welcomed into the country western world recently. I did grow up near farms, so it's kind of like going back to my roots, but I really stepped into a lot of the western world. I'm sitting on a nonprofit board of a cowboy, really, and I've been
you're sitting on a cowboy. Wait a minute, let's rephrase this.
So the cowboy is the one who runs the nonprofit. He founded the nonprofit. So his name is the Cowboy Entrepreneur. He's got a movie being made about his life. He's amazing. And him and his family are absolutely incredible. They've adopted me into their life, but he's founded a nonprofit. I sit on the board of that nonprofit. And I've really stepped into that world.
So what's happening next week?
Next week is the CMA Festival. And
what are you doing? It's the CMA Awards. This is such a big deal. You will be at the CMA Awards next week in Nashville. And what are you going to be doing? And is it because of this collaboration? Because I want to show people that are watching too. Is it the people you know that really can take you to a dream, get you to the next level? For anybody that's watching, tell us a little bit how you got that.
Everything is through relationships.
Yes.
100%. If anyone has heard me speak on stage, they know that I speak a lot about, I actually speak on the science of relationships. But the number one most important thing in life, in business, in personal life is relationships. Everything that I'm talking about doing right now would not have happened had I not cultivated relationships. So these opportunities, I did the red carpet pre-Oscars. We interviewed a lot of celebrities, and that was cultivated through relationships. I have been lucky enough to build deep, long-lasting relationships. And so I'm super excited because the Cowboy Entrepreneur, he introduced me to people who introduced me to people. And then I started doing smaller events, building my name and giving myself credibility. So you build that relationship, but then you show up. Yeah. You nurture those relationships. And after nurturing those relationships, opportunities happen.
They really do.
Yeah, so that is through relationship building that I have this opportunity. I'm super lucky. Stay tuned. Pre-CMA Festival on the night of the 4th and the 5th, I will be at.
Where can we see it? You'll be the pre-CMA red carpets. Will this be out? It's on cable because I know it's not on the actual. The networks do the night of. That's the only time slot they get. But there's always that before and after. So where can we find you and watch you rock that red carpet at the CMAs next week?
Well, I'll be doing some behind the scenes. So Heartland TV will have the CMA Festival airing. And then the CMA Award Show, the actual award show actually just happened. And so this is more of a festival where a lot of those performers are coming to the CMA Festival to sing and perform. Yes, super fun. So I just want to make sure that no one's like, oh, she didn't do, but right?
Because I love that. I'll put your
so
social media down below for you. So the Instagram and Facebook, so everybody can follow you. I'll put it in the description. The Instagram, I am the Rachel Weaver's Instagram, and Rachel Rainer.Weaver. It's right here, because I'm sure you'll be posting clips. Maybe you'll go live so people can follow you. So with that, I know we're like out of time. We run out of time so fast, but you've been so open, honest with us. In closing, can you give us, and I know you're great at this, because Rachel, myself, and another friend of ours, Wendy Shore, we get together every week at 10 a.m. on LinkedIn and share advice and tips on growing your business, marketing your business, podcasting, TV show, hosting, guesting, events, the whole gamut. So give the viewers and the listeners a couple of really great tips in like the last 5 minutes that we have to grow their business to be successful. What say you, as we're almost halfway through 2024, what should they and should know and must know to get to their summit, to get to the next level in their dreams and in their business?
So I really believe in building credibility.
Building what? Sorry.
Building a personal brand and credibility around yourself and your business. And I am a firm believer in that. I think it's really, really important. And there's ways to expedite that through press and PR. Being on podcasts like Aurea is, many others. I really feel that it's critical today to build out a personal brand. And even if you're, don't just build the brand of the company. That's one thing that I think is super critical and important for people to understand. Get help. And it doesn't always have to be some expensive help, but a support system around you. Super, super important. And then you all are welcome. We're going to be doing business over breakfast in Italy this summer. And in July, during breakfast, we'll be talking business before we go to the winery or the olive vineyard or the beautiful beach and in southern Italy on the Adriatic Sea. We'd love to have you. And just stay connected. Continue to watch podcasts like Aurea's. Be inspired. Invest your time and energy into growth.
Yeah, Rachel, so well said. And I think everything you said really wrapped up with a bow. It's about relationships and networking, finding people you actually like to do business with, because we do business with people we like. And stop thinking that somebody's better than you or this you. There is no other you on the planet. So somebody will do business with you, whoever's listening, watching, because they like you. And I'm not you. Rachel's not you. There is no other you. So get in the pool, get in the game, because people can't do business with you and like you unless you're out there. And, Rachel and I are really big on helping you let people know that your doors are open. So it's so important. So I love that you're doing events. I love you're going to Italy. And I love you never stop, Rachel, reaching out and collaborating. How important is these collaborations to your success?
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. What is collaboration? It's relationships. It's everything. Collaborations are such an essential key piece to growth, personally and professionally. And through collaborations, we can do more faster and get further along and cultivating something even bigger than we might have dreamed of originally. So
absolutely. I always think team, TEAM equals together. Everyone achieves more. And together we definitely go farther and faster. I don't know who tries to do it alone and fast. Alone is not faster in my book. So Rachel, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Thank you for sharing your personal stories, your success, and your willingness to help others. I'm going to put your social media up again for Instagram. It'll be and Facebook. It'll be in the description. And if you're watching and listening to this episode right now, feel free to tap into Rachel. She is so open and so willing to talk and help and just see what she can do to help you to the next level, whether it's post-trauma or whether it's trying to get to be success. And of course, you all know my handles are always here to reach out. And we've got a big, wonderful community coming strong very soon to the world. And we're excited to be able to help women now create their wildest dreams. So Rachel's going to be part of that. Rachel, thank you so much for being here. Thank you again for being part of Get Celebritized. You know I adore you. Mwah.
Oh, I love you so much. Thank you, Aurea.
Love you too. Thank you so much. And this is Aurea and Rachel from Get Celebritized, helping you earn more, live more, so you can give back more and live your best, juiciest legacy life. Until next time, bye for now. Bye, Rachel.
Bye. Thank you.